Welcome back, this is Danberg SC. Today we are going over one of my games I played recently on the ladder. This is for kind of my brothers and things like that, trying to get them to understand what I'm spending all my time with. So we have the rating bar directly, we have the rating bar over here. You can kind of see it on the side. You can kind of keep an eye on that as I go through it forward. Right now I'm about a 1300, I'm between 13 and 1400. I'm closer to 1300 right now, to be honest, but I've been up to 1397 over the board. My opponent should be in the same range as me, as for what his online rating was. So I am actually playing black pieces. I'm on the bottom side of the board. I'm going to try to keep that consistent so the names below correspond with who's playing on what side. I'll always try to keep my side on the bottom so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm technically the black pieces. If we were to relate this to chess, I'm second player. I'll try to say it like that or something. So I am a static rook player, which means I play without kind of moving my rook all over the place. My rook just attacks forward. Oh, and you can see how the pieces move kind of by what these arrows are on the piece and things like that. But I'll try to, you should be able to figure it out as we go along. But I'm a static rook player, so I start off on this if this is the specific opening. So in my opening, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about why I'm doing these moves. It's not so important, especially at my level. But what I'm trying to be careful of is what is my opponent doing with his rook? If my opponent's going to attack down like this, or if he's going to swing it over and attack down like this, or maybe to the middle and attack, or maybe down a flank over here, I have to be careful of what my opponent is going to do with his rook. And then, depending on what he does with his rook, I castle differently. So my whole opener until this point is to try to figure out what is he doing with this rook over here. And he's doing a very good job of kind of keeping his options open. It's a very interesting playstyle. So we keep going. He drops silver forward. I'm slowly improving my position. And then when he brings this gold forward, this is the first move that he makes where I'm kind of like, okay, I think he's also going to be playing static rook. If he moves the gold forward like this, he could try to bring the gold up and out of the way, but this is kind of a cutting off move where now his rook kind of lives in this area over here. So I feel like I don't need to worry about his rook swinging over. So I kind of push my pawn. I'm trying to see what he's going to do. He brings the silver forward. And now I play this move. I push my pawn forward on 5-4. So you can count these by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on how it is. So this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 pawn. There's a chance that he kind of opens up this and we go for a bishop exchange. If he does this now, this is actually really good for me. But just to kind of explain it, if for some reason I move something out of the way, this is all terrible moves, so I'm just trying to show you. If I was to do something like this, my opponent has a drop over here because I've opened this up where I can't really escape. This piece is worth more than this piece, so I can't really escape if I open up this. So I'm a little bit concerned in this position where I open up this pawn here. Maybe it wasn't the best move, but I'm not too worried about it yet because my opponent's not really committing to any attack at the point, and if his silver comes out, I'm not too worried about it. So again, this is maybe a kind of a poor move in my position. I have to kind of rethink this position, but I play it anyway. We continue forward, and now I'm trying to figure out what is he going to do with his rook, and now he's finally committed to move to his rook. I know that he's playing this. He's not going to be swinging these over anymore. He's committing down to attacking me on this file. He's going to pair these pieces down, his rook and his bishop, towards my side over here. So now I get to start castling the way I would like to castle. And I'm kind of closing off this activity. I'm closing off this route now because I'm going to try to absorb this. And I'm still slowly making progress. And now this is a position that I absolutely love. So this is, his position isn't necessarily poor. He's got silver forward and he's got this castle over here. My castle is kind of like this, where I'm defending with my silver and my 2 golds on this side. But this position here is a position I get into a lot. This is actually a position that I try to get into. And this is my whole idea as we go through is to try to put my bishop out on an angle where I can attack down these lines and attack like this. But first, my one of the biggest weaknesses in this position is my king has not the ability to run to this corner if I need to. I need to make sure my king is safe. So I can make a slow move like, okay, he pushes this pawn forward. I can make a slow move like this, and then my king is available to kind of step away and step in. But I don't like this move of just kind of like, okay, what are you going to do? I like to play kind of aggressively, so I go for a pawn exchange in this position. So I actually push this pawn first, and I'll explain why in a second. If he doesn't take, it's just very bad for him. So he obviously takes, and now I'm going to step out with my bishop. And there's a lot of things he can do in this position. This is a very standard position for shogi, but he just drops a pawn back into the position, and then I slip down to this position. So if we look back a couple moves into this position, you can see that this pawn exists on my side of the board. However, when I go to this position, the pawn is gone. It's in my hand now. So this is just a small little variation where I still hand the game back over to him, but this gives me one pawn advantage if he doesn't drop back on his side. So I'm in a good position now. I'm like, okay, how do you want to attack me? Let's go. Let's play. He brings his, I think it's called the knight. He brings his knight forward. So this piece moves kind of like a standard knight in chess where it can jump around only forward like this. So I see he's probably trying to attack this square here, so I block it off with the pawn. I'm not really worried about bishop exchanges anymore because I've blocked this off. I won't go into that either. But it's a good position for me. I'm feeling confident. The computer is saying it's basically stock standard. You can see on the side it's 50-50. There's no real advantage anywhere right now. So this is where I start really enjoying the position. He should not have pushed this pawn. This is a very bad move for him because, again, what I'm trying to do in this position is get my bishop out on this flank and attack over here. And now he's kind of giving me a lot of attack potential with this. So I'll show you what's going on in the next move. So I take, he's going to take with his silver, and now I'm going to jump out here. I think the opponent, I'm kind of pinning this bishop to his rook right now. He can't really jump forward anywhere because I can take with the pawn, but this is kind of, I'm taking control over the position. If he just tries to come and attack me or something, I can come up and attack because this doesn't attack to that corner. It only attacks to these sides. So I have the ability to what is it? I'm strong in this position. So he defends his knight with his rook, and then I drop a pawn. So I'm going to take this. He's lost it now. He can't really jump it out anywhere without me just being able to take it. So he steps his silver back. I take it, and now he steps his silver back again. And now I'm just up material. This is a very good position for me. It's already saying you can already see the bar. It's slowly getting higher up over here. The bar is slightly above half on my side, so I'm getting an advantage now because I have this piece advantage. I've won that advantage. So when he comes and takes, I just basically restart the attack again. There's no reason that I can't keep attacking that same position. If he takes, I just come and take his lance over in the corner with a promotion, and then everything is kind of just very good for me. It's just more and more profit. He steps aside, and now I'm going to re-attack and kind of just put a lot of pressure down on this position over here. If I can get one piece promoted and he takes, I can retake with this, and I'm just going to be better off overall. So there are better engine moves in this position. I've actually kind of, if you see the bar, it's gone back down to 50-50. I've kind of thrown away my advantage, but I've put myself into, I feel, a position that's not terrible. I'm not super great at this game yet. I'm still just about 1,400. So he takes, which is great for me. I take back, and then he tries to take the pawn. I retake with this, and now he has an idea. I see what he's trying to do, but I think he's gone too far. If I was him, I would maybe try to jump back here to defend this from being taken, but he goes for a trade. Now, this position I don't think is very good for him. What he's trying to not do is not lose his rook for free. He wants to at least get a trade of material that's similar. If his rook is worth 80 points, my bishop is worth about 75. So it's a little bit better for me, but I don't need to do anything. And if I just kind of jump out now and take, he actually takes this with check. He takes it with his check, so he really can't go anywhere. I'm not too worried about what he's doing next, but it's just kind of an uncomfortable position. I didn't want to do that, so I just slowly promoted my pawn. I promoted the pawn, and now he has no option except for just taking. If he does anything else, then it's just really good for me. So he takes, I take, and now he opens up his bishop. Again, his idea from the beginning, I didn't talk about this earlier, but his whole idea was to make sure that this pawn push here activates his bishop when he wants it to be activated. Now, there's nothing else to really do I think he wanted to do this instead of trying to push his knight over here, but he doesn't now. I see a couple moves that he has, but I'm actually just going to kind of ignore it for a minute, and I'm going to promote my pawn. This is actually, the computer doesn't hate this move. which I was proud of. Spent a lot of time on this move. So he drops this Kema here. I'm sorry, I said Kema. It's another word for it. It's a knight or a Kema. I'm gonna jump back and forth between the names because I call it a Kema. So this is forking my 2 golds. And I saw this coming. If I take with the silver, he's going to take with that. And then he has threatened on my row. If I take like this, he threatens down to this corner. And I see what's going on. So I'm okay with that for now. But first I want to take with check. So I take his gold with check to get more material in my hand over on this side. Now he takes back, and now I take with my silver. He takes here, and I don't want him to take this lance down in this corner. If he takes the lance down this corner, he kind of suffocates my king's escape route. I can't really go over to this corner because it's there, and I can't really run off to that other corner. So it's there, so I opt to drop a pawn to block. So now his only options are to kind of step back this way to continue attacking down this line, or he can retreat back, or he can sack and take, or maybe drop a piece or something like that, and you continue attacking or whatnot, what have you. But this is basically all of his options. So he opts to sack his bishop because he wants piece activity. So I take back with my rook because I don't really need this attack anymore. I'm attacking fine from this side, and I actually have a lot of in-hand pieces. I actually have a lot of pieces in hand, so I'm not too worried about it. Sorry. And now he drops back. His whole idea here is if I step back, he can come out and promote, and it's okay, but I don't really care about my rook anymore. My rook isn't a very important piece. I have a lot of pieces in my hand over here, a lot of attack potential where he really doesn't have much attack potential. So I kind of ignore it, and I just drop this knight over here. He takes my rook, which is probably the best move on the board, but I'm going to start taking with check first. I want to see what he does. If he runs away, I take. So this, right now, his best piece on the board is kind of always hanging. It's always hanging, and every time there's a move that doesn't result in me having necessarily to, if he stops reacting to what I'm doing at all, I'm going to take his bishop, or his promoted bishop. He takes, and now there's, in this position, there is kind of a nasty move I find. I drop this this here. There's actually about a 13 move mate in this position when he took. I knew I was winning, so I dropped this position here. He actually just takes, and I end up winning the game in this position. So again, I didn't need to get greedy and take this back. I just won this pawn over here. However, at the end of the game, if he was tried to run away, the best move on the board is actually here. This is the best move on the board in this position. I can drop here. If he takes, I actually just have another mate. So I kind of just sack that piece. If he runs, this is the best move for him. I drop a gold. He can't take, so he has to run away. If he takes, for example, if he takes here, then I just can take, and then there's just, this is basically he's dead in this position. He can't run away. It's mate in 4 in like 7 different ways. So in this position, he has to run away. I take, he has to run away again. I can drop, he has to stop. I can drop a silver here, it takes, and then gold. So there's this long checkmate sequence again. I'll go through it really quick. Boom. Oh, no. So in this position, boom. If he doesn't take, if he steps over here, boom, 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 boom. That's the mate I was able to kind of see on the board in this position. So I ended up winning this game. Kind of a short little video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one.